Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're watching in the world, welcome to the RTA Virtual Motorsports presented by Gantry TV. It's the Motorsport.ie LMP2 Cup, and we are here at the fourth round of the championship at the Circuit de la Sarthe, Le Mans. Yes, 13.5 kilometres, maybe just slightly over, of pure French tarmac. Ronan Hederman is our man behind the scenes. I'm sure he'll be wandering in whenever I sort of summon him into the commentary box. But it's also myself, Kieran McGinley, as we see drivers already getting to grips with this fantastic circuit that's so rich of heritage when we first started racing here all the way back in 1929. And back then it was a whole lot of straights and even a hairpin where the final couple of corners are now. It's safe to say the safety has come a long, long way since then. The speeds have come slightly down, but what hasn't faded is the pure elation of winning at Le Mans. So famous for hosting the 24 Hours of Le Mans, normally around mid-June. Today it has the pleasure of hosting the fourth round of the Motorsport.ie LMP2 Cup. And you have heard that correctly, yes, we're racing sprint races around the full Le Mans circuit. Absolutely spot on here. If you're not already aware, iRacing had an update. In fact, it launched today and the drivers have really been getting to grips with it. As you can probably see by the gravel as well, there's a little bit more marbling. You know, changes to the marbles have been made. So if anybody strays onto the gravel, that now rejoins onto the circuit and can cause a little bit of drama for drivers, but also the tyre warming mechanics. Drivers have been reporting in this session, in this practice session, that it's a lot like driving in the rain for your first lap out onto the circuit. So combine that with, as you can see, the gravel across the circuit here to make things even more slippery and even less adhesion for the drivers to really sink their teeth into. It means a very interesting opening few corners. And we watch on then with Ronan making his way through now, and onwards he will go. Let's see what he can do. Currently second in our practice session, not too far away from qualifying here. And he makes his way onwards here on this sacred 13.5 kilometre circuit. I believe we're now heading in towards the Indianapolis section here. But we'll have a look at the standings before we get really straight into the action here and ahead of qualifying. It's Rory O'Shea who is on top of the world at the moment with 199 points. Dylan McClements only 7 points back on 192. It's Peter McCann in third place on 184 with Jason Smith in fourth place on 177. Sean McClements rounds off the top five on 163. Brandon McCaughey in sixth place with 134 points. Ronan Doherty in 7th on 126th. Logan Hoy in 8th place on 102. Kevin Joyce in 9th place. He'll be hoping to break into 3 digits tonight. He's currently on 95. And Conor Melia rounds off the top 10 on 91 points. And that was after our third round at Spa-Francorchamps. It is Rory O'Shea who goes in here tonight with that 7-point advantage, looking to see if he can open up the gap between himself and Dylan McClements. McClements himself very much on order. We saw from last season he had a lot of second places to his name, did Dylan McClements, and he's continued that great rich vein of form. A handful of second places already, 2 second places, a third place. The rest have been sort of 4th and 5th, and unlucky enough to finish in 13th place and 21st place. Didn't have the greatest round last time out. Managed to get a 5th place in race 3, but that was marred by a 21st and a 13th as Sean McClements bunny hops over that final curb there and makes his way onwards towards the start-finish line. And this is a track here where even if you're 0.4 of a second away from the driver in front, considering that's over a whole 13 kilometres, that's not bad going whatsoever. But our LMP2 is not too far away now from our qualifying session, and we'll be able to see who will be able to grab pole position for the 4th time in this season then. Jordan Kelly leads the way with a 3-minute 37 in practice. That's sort of what we're going to expect from this time here. You can just see overviewing, that's the Bugatti circuit, the circuit that was introduced in the late 1960s as an alternative, a shorter circuit to encourage sprint racing to be brought to Le Mans, as we can see the gaggle of LMP2 machineries make their way onwards to the circuit. But the Circuit Bugatti even had an outing in Formula 1 as well. But drivers were sort of feeding back that it wasn't actually an entertaining circuit. There wasn't actually a lot of profiling. There wasn't a lot of overtakes. And reported that much like what happened at Zeltweg, it was quite an uninspiring circuit. That didn't really capture the imagination for drivers. So in the end, it's sort of gone to club racing. Not many series do race on the Bugatti circuit nowadays. However, plenty of drivers, plenty of people do want to take to the streets of Le Mans. And if you've ever been to Le Mans, when they do not have the all the circuit barriers out there, as they look to close off the public roads, of course. Some of this is public roads. There's half, well, I would say probably more half public roads than it is purpose-built circuit. You see, the Mulsanne Straight is actually a public road that they do have to close. You can drive on it when you're not, when the Le Mans isn't coming to town in the endurance. But of course, it's very, very heavily policed. I can't imagine why. But we watch on then as Jordan Kelly is at the, I believe, in amongst this action here. There is the number 7 machine just behind him of Rory O'Shea. And this is this might be a common theme here. Maybe quite a bit of slipstreaming, a bit of tow to give to other drivers. But there is Jordan Kelly wearing the number 1. That's the number 8, Ronan Doherty, right behind him. As he'll now make his way onwards then to the next portion of the circuit. A lot of weaving here. I did see Jamal Gandor in the driver's chat saying what we should do is we should make it a full lap of warm-up ahead of the races and let Gantry TV suffer. I'm against that plan, but you know what? If he wants to see me suffer, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, Jamal. We'll see what we can do. I hope it's not the full lap. Otherwise, we've got a 5-minute warm-up lap before each race. But, you know, can we deal with 5 minutes of me blathering on? I'm not too sure. This is where I'm going to bring in Ronan, and he's going to tell me, no, Kieran, it'll be fine, when it's actually not. Ronan, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you? I'm hoping not. I don't know who has set up the server tonight, so it's probably dependent on who that was.
Fingers crossed, eh? Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. I mean, we have to wait a while before we even get started in qualifying. It's a 15-minute session, Ronan. So we have 3 minute 37 that was set as our fastest practice time. So let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's say a 4-minute out lap, maybe closer to 4 minute 15. So by the time you've started your lap, you're looking at maybe 3 laps maximum.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be short racing, but I don't know. These cars, I would have liked to have said would have been a bit predictable after the couple of weeks that we've had in them already. But with this iRacing update, there could very well be carnage, especially if there's some people that are going to get caught out who haven't done any practice. So I don't know. It could be an interesting, very few laps. But look, we'll just have to find out, right?
I'm sure. I would love to find out at this stage. But we are just about to start our first laps of qualifying then, as we watch on Jordan Kelly cross the line then to start the first lap of qualifying proper. And just to give you an idea, we're nearly 4 minutes into the session then, as we head through the Dunlop curve then, through in towards the first corner, heavy onto the brakes then, in towards the Roland-Tessier Dunlop then, towards that right-hander, already a little bit of gravel over the circuit then, and then we head towards the Chapel descent then. It's a right-hander that swoops into the left here, a slight banking in towards that apex of the left-hander to try and carry a bit more speed through there. Tetra Rouge is coming up then, through the S of Tetra Rouge, and then we head in towards Virage de Tetra Rouge, and back onto the power we go then, as we head onto the Mulsanne Straight, which is broken up by 2 chicanes here and a couple of corners to boot as well. Courbe d'Antare, as we head our way on towards the Hyun Aldière. And if you've not noticed already, my French may be just as good as my Portuguese, absolutely abysmal, but that won't stop me from giving it a good run up and a good go as we head away towards the first chicane, the first Roland-Tessier. I think it's Primaire Roland-Tessier, if I'm not mistaken, in French. As we then head our way back down to the Mulsanne Straight once again, back onto Hyun Aldière, as we ride on board then with Jordan Kelly rocking the number 1 on the machine then. And we head away onwards then. It's a lot of time for thinking as you head away towards the second Roland-Tessier. It's a right, left, right for the first one, and it's a left, right, left for the second. So you have to make sure the car's all the way over to the right-hand side. You really do have to attack these curbs here. You'll get back onto the power then. Make sure you keep the right-hand side wheels off of the curb, and you should get away without any X's for track limit. Courbe de Audière as we head away then on towards the Virage de Mulsanne. Right at the end of the Mulsanne straight, this hairpin here, where it's one of the slowest corners on the track. You have to turn in on the right-hand side, and then you have to start decelerating here down in towards the slowest part, maybe even first gear if you really want to, but straight back up into second if you need it. And then we head down towards the Courbe de Golf. Again, a lot of time for thinking around the Mulsanne straight and the Circuit de la Sarthe as we head away onwards towards Indianapolis then. This part of the track is, as you can probably tell, it is a public road, and if you've never been to Le Mans, I very much highly recommend that you do, because this part here, the gravel never goes away. You can visit this part of the circuit and the gravel always stays here. It is a public road, the gravel's always there, and yeah, as I said before though, it is heavily policed, so don't take any racing lines whilst Le Mans isn't in town. In towards Arnage then, and back on the power we go as we head towards Buisson, this slight left-hander, before we head away in towards the Porsche curves, the Virage de Pont, and all sorts. This really will test the high and medium speed corners. Heading our way through here in towards Virage Porsche, which is the right-hander here. Here we go then, trying to take as much curb as possible. The grass is right there to catch you out. Virage de Pont comes next, and then all of a sudden you're through in towards the karting S's, then in towards the Corvette curve, and then onwards towards Maison Blanche, White House, which is off there on the right-hand side. And then onwards then towards this double chicane, the forward curbs and the Virage de Raccordement, before we make our way on towards the start-finish straight once again. It's a quick left and right, followed by another left and right to really slow the cars down. And then we get back onto the power, onwards and upwards to that start-finish line, with Jordan Kelly kissing a little bit of the tarmac, a little bit of gravel on his way to the start-finish line. That's a 3-minute 37.713. Ronan Doherty has now just gone to the top of the timing screens then with a 3-minute 37.5, and now puts himself on provisional pole position. And after that lap, we are already had half the time elapsed for qualifying, and we haven't even had some times in yet from some drivers. Rory O'Shea goes third fastest then, with Dylan McClements in fourth place. CJ O'Sullivan was fifth, now down to sixth because Sean McGoldrick has now gone fifth fastest there. I'll tell you what, you're not going to miss Dylan McClements out on track, aren't you, this season? That white, hot pink, mint colour as well in there as well, as he now tackles his way through in towards the Descente and Tetra Rouge. On he goes then. There is Jason Smith in the tricolour, representing the Irish flags then, green, white and gold. Currently 11th fastest in this session. Ken Dawes now just gone into the top 10 then. Sean McClements now goes 7th fastest, so putting himself now on the 4th row of the grid in the number 21 machine. Still awaiting lap times here from Aaron Dalton. He might be making his way towards the line very, very shortly. But there is Sean McClements in the number 21, who is currently their 7th fastest, and just making sure he gets himself as much up the way as possible. What we'll probably see in qualifying tonight is probably the biggest gaps. Whoa, is that Sean McClements getting onto the grass then? These cars are very, very powerful, but when you take them onto the grass and off the track like that, they're not going to be using their best aero performance possible at that stage. We'll see then who can make their way through. Ronan Doherty's just come back to the pit lane then, and I think that will probably be qualifying done and dusted for him, in all honesty. Jordan Kelly's done exactly the same. Rory O'Shea, though, in the second and third mini sectors, has set the fastest time of anybody through those sectors. So he's clearly on a charge on this lap then, as he now makes his way, powers his way onwards and upwards then, as he'll make his way onwards towards Indianapolis corner very, very shortly. He has to tackle through the Courbe de Golf first and foremost, but it's pretty much foot on the loud pedal as long as you can, as long as you dare, and you start turning in for Indianapolis further down the way. That's when you have to start slowing the car down and making sure everything's all in check here. It's so risky here, but it really does reward you by the banking, the slight banking in towards that left-hander of the Indianapolis. Now in towards Arnage then. Again, a really slow part of the circuit, but really important to get the power down and really hit your apex there as we head our way on towards Buisson. And through that just slight left-hander, onwards and upwards we will go then. And it's a case of if Rory O'Shea can get a better lap time on the board. He's currently just shy of 7/10 away from trying to make, or I should say, 8 tenths away from the lead. He's about just shy of 7 tenths away from second place Jordan Kelly. But we'll see what Rory O'Shea can do. He hasn't been setting the timing screen to light in the last couple of sectors, but the fact that he's got 2 purples there means we should just be keeping an eye on him, just in case anything happens here, as he'll make his way then through in towards these last couple of corners, in towards the Virage Ford and the Virage de Racordement. And all eyes on the timing screens then to see what sort of lap time he can set. He'll get one more chance if he wants it, if he feels like he wants it, as he'll make his way across the line. Rory O'Shea, does he get an improvement on the board? Yes, he does. He improves his time, but not his position. Stays third fastest there. Ronan Doherty has rejoined the circuit and making his way back out onto track. I don't know if he's going to have enough time here, because once the clock hits 15 minutes, that's it. Qualifying is done. So that's why we were saying you've only really got 3 attempts at a fast lap if you're able to, and Rory O'Shea is going to use those attempts as much as he can as try number 3 gets on the board. Then there is Tony Stack, who is making his way now in towards, I believe this is the sort of last part of the circuit then, as we head our way through in towards the Porsche curve, in towards Virage de Pont, through the S's karting, and then sizing up once again the Corvette curves. Ronan Doherty then still on that provisional pole position with a 3-minute 37.5. And as we watch from the helicopter up above, that virtual helicopter, watching on Tony Stack, chasing him down as he'll make his way on towards the final couple of corners through Virage Ford and Virage de Racordement. But he gets it all wrong going in there, and that will have invalidated his lap, and that will be qualifying pretty much over and done with. Unfortunately for Tony Stack, he will not get a lap time on the board. If he so chooses, he might be able to start a lap, and it might be very, very close at the end there. That is, of course, if he didn't get the car too upset through that final part. Here's Aaron Dalton then, who hasn't set a lap time yet, and that's why he's been setting some green sectors, but he makes his way, powering his way towards the line. Where can he go in the standings then, setting a lap time on the board? He will go 16th fastest then, with a 3-minute 44.6. And like I was saying before, it's because it's a 13.5 kilometre circuit, maybe even 13.6 kilometres if you measure in certain places. The time differences are going to be a lot more noticeable than they are at other circuits. I mean, Spa was probably one of our longer circuits that we went to last time around, but we're talking a bit more than that. We're talking 5 additional kilometres or so, maybe even more than that. It might even be more. I think it is more. It's 6 kilometres more, isn't it? Because Spa's about 7 kilometres, whereas we've got Le Mans here, which is 13.6. So you're going to see a bit more time variance between these drivers. Having said that, though, I might be eating my own words, because the likes of Brandon McCaughton in 9th place, Finley Melvin is only 6 100ths behind, Bobby Joe McFall is only 9 100ths behind Finley Melvin, and Dermot Tooby is only 4 100ths behind Bobby Joe McFall. So I might be eating my own words slightly there, but I'm talking about, we've currently got the provisional pole position time at 3-minute 37. We have a look at 19th place, it's currently a 3:46. So this is where, this probably is going to be our biggest gaps between the fastest and the not so fastest at the back of the grid, who will be battling away. Take nothing away, it does take some tremendous skill here. Not too far away from the checkered flag falling in qualifying here. Brandon McCaughton in 9th place at the moment. There is Dylan McClements, currently 2nd in the championship, looking for his first race win of the season. Could it be at Le Mans? He's currently 4th fastest in this qualifying session, and as he'll make his way then through in towards the final part of the circuit, he will get the 3 flying laps then. At least he's got 30 seconds on the board, so he should be able to get the 3 laps in. That's pretty much the maximum you can do in this. He's been setting some personal bests throughout this lap. Let's see if he can put together that lap and see what he can do. He runs slightly wide there. Did he exceed track limits, I wonder? Will he complete the lap? Will it show an improvement? Either way, he's only got 10 seconds on the board, so it's going to be nip and tuck for him to get to the line. I might be saying you do get a little bit of variance after the 15 minutes has been elapsed, but a slap of oversteer on the exit. Does he get the time in? He didn't. He did not get the time in, did Dylan McClements. So he will stay 4th fastest. I do wonder if that would have been enough to get himself up the order. But there is your starting grid for the first race of tonight. It's Ronan Doherty who's on pole position with Jordan Kelly in second place. Rory O'Shea is in third place with Dylan McClements in fourth. It's Leo Richardson in fifth place then with Sean McGoldrick in sixth. CJ O'Sullivan in seventh place with Sean McClements, I should say, in eighth place. Brandon McCaughey in ninth place. Finley Melvin rounding off the top 10. Bobby Joe McFall in 11th place. Dermot Toomey in 12th. Ken Doyle in 13th place with Jason Smith in 14th. David Pronti in 15th place. Aaron Dalton in 16th. Jamal Gandor in 17th place with Ender Farrell in 18th. Phil Hudson in 19th place. Kevin Joyce rounds off the top 20. Robbie Callahan in 21st place. Logan Hoy in 22nd. Simon Hutchings in 23rd place with Carl Irvine in 24th. 25th place is TJ Taft with 26th place Sebastian Scholten, and rounding off our 27 drivers it's Tony Stack, and you can see a lot of no times there on the board. I believe that is from Kevin Joyce downwards, who has set no time in qualifying. Such is the way of the length of the circuit, you only get 3 attempts, and that is once you've completed the first outlap on the circuit. So if you fail to get it on your first attempt, you might have one more chance, but that's really it. So if you make 2 mistakes in qualifying on 2 separate occasions, 2 separate laps, that is pretty much qualifying done and dusted for you, unfortunately. But we're getting ready here for our first race of the evening. It is a 10-minute race, so expect 3 laps here at the Circuit de la Sarthe if all goes to plan. There is your pole sitter, or I should say second place driver, in Jordan Kelly in the number 1. And then Ronan Doherty starts alongside him there as we make our way, waiting for the race to get underway behind the pace truck. It will lead us round in towards, I believe, the back end of the circuit then. So we'll just wait and see where this is leading from. So this looks like it is before the Porsche curves. Yes, Ronan, thank you. It is before the Porsche curves. So it's a little bit of a way. So we've probably got about 90 seconds of warm-up. To be honest with you, that's a lot better than the 5 minutes of warm-up that it could have been if we were to do the whole circuit. But you see here so many drivers weaving their way, trying to get as much heat into the tyres as possible. Ronan, you were telling me about, the drivers are really saying that it's so important. There's a spinner in the background. It's Jason Smith who spins on the pace lap. I really wish we could have said we didn't see that, Jason, but unfortunately we all did. But he'll have to join onto the back now. Well, that's one way to warm up your tyres. It's not the... well, I'm sure it's not... There are less embarrassing ways to do it. But there we go. But I was just going to say, Ronan, it's so important to get heat into the tyres. They're doing it so aggressively.
Yeah, that is the most aggressive I think I've ever seen an RTA grid try and heat up the tyres. That just shows you the extent of this update. For better or for good... a lot of people in the comments at the moment, Evan saying chaos incoming. I think he could be right.
Could be right. Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's by getting this show on the road. Ronan Doherty in the bright orange machine there, looking to try and get this start absolutely nailed down. Jordan Kelly will be starting alongside him then. Rory O'Shea in third place with Dylan McClements rounding off the top 4. Dylan McClements starting behind Rory O'Shea, or at least on the same row as him. But those are your 2 championship protagonists as we're getting ever closer to the halfway distance in the championship here for the Motorsport.ie LMP2 Cup then. The pace truck then will lead them round then and goes through the forward curves. And then we'll pull off right at the last moment then. There it goes. It pulls off the circuit now. And it's all up now to Ronan Doherty to get this race underway. He does. He powers his way across the line. And we're racing here at Le Mans for the Motorsport.ie LMP2 Cup then. Good start from Ronan Doherty. Jordan Kelly following him through with Dylan McClements in third place then. Rory O'Shea in fourth. Lee Richardson currently in fifth place. But this is where it could get a little bit hairy then. How good have the tyre warming antics been? Oh, there's a bit of a spinner. There's a couple of cars off up into the gravel there. Dermot Toomey, I think, was one of them who found himself stranded slightly in the gravel. We're going side by side meanwhile because Leo Richardson gets away past Rory O'Shea then as we make our way up the order. Dylan McClements was under pressure from Leo Richardson as well, but McClements managed to hold off the attack then from Leo Richardson as we make our way out of Tetra Rouge then, and side by side we go then. There's Jordan Kelly, who moves ahead of Ronan Doherty. I wonder if Doherty here might have just let that happen because the slipstream is so powerful down the Mulsanne straight. It's almost worth seeing if you can work together. But that seems like it's not a case of Ronan Doherty let him go. That's a case of Ronan Doherty is losing a lot of time. As there's Jason Smith looking for a move on Ken Doyle then, as we make our way down in towards that first chicane then. Down the Mulsanne straight. Lovely move then from Jason Smith. Spare his blushes. What blushes? He's now up into 11th place as he looks to try and climb his way up the order. Sean McGoldrick, meanwhile, in that Lotus livery. Under pressure here from CJ O'Sullivan. Is that? No, it is Sean McClements. CJ O'Sullivan's just behind as Sean McClements and Sean McGoldrick go battling side by side, then heading away towards that second chicane. Sean McClements on the inside manages to get the move done ahead of Sean McGoldrick, but another spinner in the background. It's Finley Melvin, who's facing the wrong way out of the second chicane, and he has to wait an age to rejoin the circuit, but he does just that. And these cold tyres, these first lap on these tyres, really probably wreaking havoc. I think everyone was right. We are seeing a little bit of chaos. There's a very close-up view of Ken Doyle, the number 25, as Jason Smith tries to hold him back as we make our way onwards down there in towards the Virage de Mulsanne. And getting back onto the power we go then. Jason Smith ahead then of Ken Doyle at this stage. How about this for an Armada? Robbie Callahan in the number 13 looking to try and get past Finley Melvin. Melvin runs a little bit wide there. Might buy Robbie Callahan a little bit of momentum here so that he can use down the Courbe de Golf and on towards the Indianapolis S's. They will run side by side then. Callahan doesn't seem like he's got the momentum on his side then. Logan Hoy also looking for a move as well. Kyle Irvine is looking to see what he can do in his little branded LMP2, but no way through against Kevin Joyce on that occasion. Robbie Callahan starting to lose positions there because Logan Hoy goes down the inside in towards Indianapolis and makes the move stick then as we head away down towards Arnage, as there's two cars off in the background there. I think one of them's TJ Tuff. The other one might be Kyle Irvine there, who found the gravel there. Not quite sure what happened in that moment, but we make our way through in towards Arnage following this quartet. And getting back onto the power we go then. Further up the order, it's Leo Richardson who's under pressure now from Rory O'Shea as we head away through in towards the karting S's now. Following on from the Corvette curve and in towards Maison Blanche. Onwards towards the final couple of corners. Rory O'Shea just filling the mirrors of Leo Richardson, going left, going right. He's being unpredictable here. We go side by side, surely not through and towards the final corners. It's a very narrow part of the circuit, and I think Rory O'Shea chose the better option. Don't make it side by side on this occasion, but don't let Leo Richardson forget that you are right there in the rear view mirror. We've got 3 minutes 50 on the clock elapsed so far, and Jordan Kelly has pretty much completed the first lap worth of racing. 1.3 second lead between himself and Ronan Doherty. It's Dylan McClements in third place then, Leo Richardson in fourth, but under pressure from Rory O'Shea. But Rory O'Shea is around at the second corner then. He'll have to get back onto the track as soon as he can, but now he'll rejoin in 13th place. Not quite sure what happened. Let's have a look and see what did happen. Now, this was a battle here for between himself and Leo Richardson, which would have been for fourth place at the time. We head our way through in towards the Dunlop curve and then towards the next corner. He loses it under braking there. The rear's locked on him for Rory O'Shea, and that could be a huge boost there for Dylan McClements at this stage, as Rory O'Shea will now have to try and see what he can do battling his way up the order. He might not have time, but he's got plenty of track ahead of him to see if he can make up for lost time. CJ O'Sullivan here, battling away with Brandon McCawhan as we make our way onwards then towards that first chicane. But McCawhan able to stay ahead on this occasion. CJ O'Sullivan in 8th place then. Jason Smith right behind him in 9th place. I tell you what, they've done a full, or a 180 definitely on the warm-up, but tyres seem to be good for Jason Smith at the moment. He's at 5 positions from where he started, so perhaps I was too quick to judge that warming up technique, but surely we're not going to go 3 wide down the Mulsanne straight. No, CJ O'Sullivan makes sure that can't happen, stays at 2 wide for now, and Jason Smith is just watching on this occasion. Still no way past. Brandon McCawhan defending that position against CJ O'Sullivan. Jason Smith, though, trying to get the better run out of the second hairpin, or the second chicane, I should say. Tony Stack, meanwhile, Loses out on a position to Finley Melvin, but right behind them, Robbie Callahan down the inside of Logan Hoy. There was contact between the two of them then as Callahan flies his way in towards that second chicane. He wasn't stopping in a hurry there. And watch out as well for Simon Hutchings, the Welshman here, looking to see if he can take full advantage of the two of these two squabbling for position. As Logan Hoy looks like he's got the better run out of the second chicane. Callahan tucks back into that slipstream. And Simon Hutchings happy to follow on for now as we head away down towards the Virage de Mulsanne. Towards that hairpin-esque corner. We watch on then this battle for second place. Ronan Doherty in second place, and that's Dylan McClements in third. Onto the brakes he goes then in towards Indianapolis. As both of them run slightly wide there, grabbing a bit of gravel and depositing it onto the circuit. Heading now in towards the Arnage corner. And just behind them as well, Leo Richardson. Now he's under attack from Sean McGoldrick as Jason Smith gets a position, but that might be why, because C.J. O'Sullivan is facing the wrong way at Arnage. He'll have to rejoin the circuit carefully here. And Ronan Hederman on the replays already can show us what happened here to C.J. O'Sullivan. So we're in towards Indianapolis here, and that's Tricolor running a little bit wide. C.J. O'Sullivan tries to get onto the brakes then and turn in. Ooh, bit of a weird one, that one. Did the back end just let go on C.J. O'Sullivan? It did, didn't it? It looked a bit close with Jason Smith, but I don't think there was any contact whatsoever. I think the back end just decided there's too much speed in this corner. You're having a laugh. Decided to not play anymore. Sean McGoldrick then, in this battle for fourth place, wants that fourth place. Heading our way through in towards the forward curve and in towards the final chicane here. Back on the power we go. We've completed 2 laps worth of racing. And we'll see if we get 3 or 4 laps. I'm not quite sure when Jordan Kelly crossed the line, but he's currently set the fast lap of the race. 3 minute 37.398, which is faster than he managed in qualifying by about 0.3 of a second. So he's absolutely flying out there. No surprise to see him with a 2.2 second lead. Logan Hoy battling away here with Simon Hutchings. As we make our way onwards towards that first corner, Hutchings ahead at the moment. Logan Hoy looking for a move up the inside, then in towards the first corner, and Simon Hutchings has to go wide of that first corner. That compromises his run through that chicane. Logan Hoy will get the better exit going out of the Ralentisier Dunlop. Now they run side by side, throwing in towards the Chapel descent. Logan Hoy gets his way ahead then of Simon Hutchings on this occasion. I'll tell you what, it may be 13.6 kilometres, but these drivers seem to be sharing the track more than they normally do, as Sean McClements trying to see if he can find a way past Brandon McCawthon once again, down the inside in towards that first chicane at the Mulsanne straight, but he gets us all sorts of wrong there, cuts across the track, and he will yield, I think, to give that position back to Brandon McCawthon, but he will lose a whole heap of positions here if he's not careful. Yeah, there goes Jason Smith up another position then. So up 7 places has Jason Smith gone in this race so far. His sights are firmly set on Brandon McCawthon at this stage. I mean, Ronan, we've had so much action going on here.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. The pace of Jason and just cutting through so far has been phenomenal. It's that real aggressive Jason Smith that we've grown to know over the past few seasons.
Brilliant stuff from Jason. Just having a look at what he's been able to achieve so far. He's had 3 wins so far this season, so 2 of them coming at the last round. So he had 3 podiums last time out, so he's really on the money here. On the money too is Rory O'Shea, having to battle his way back through the pack after the moment he had earlier on in the race. It's Sean McClements ahead of him. Meanwhile, Kevin Joyce and David Prunty are battling for position. David Prunty gets himself back ahead of Kevin Joyce on this occasion as they both head their way out of Arnage. And we'll make our way onwards then towards the Indianapolis S's. Still then Sean McClements seeing if he can hold off the attack of Rory O'Shea. Then O'Shea trying to find a gap on the inside. There's not a lot of room there, but Rory O'Shea gets his nose in there. He'll be on the outside here in towards Indianapolis, but if he can hold on in here, he'll have the inside line for Arnage. Look at this, it's door to door now. Millimetrically perfect from the two of them. They do make slight contact, getting back on the power we go. McClements just gets the better run out of Arnage, and Rory O'Shea has to settle on this occasion, but the two of them giving us a brilliant battle here. We have now elapsed on our timer, so this is the final lap of the race then, as Leo Richardson holds back from Sean McGoldrick then. We'll probably see Jordan Kelly make his way towards the line at one stage or another to try and claim a victory here, but there's so much going on behind him. Sean McClements here trying to hold back Rory O'Shea with this contact, and Rory O'Shea hits the wall. Rory O'Shea from 9th place hits the wall as Jordan Kelly's about to take the checkered flag, and that LMP2 for Rory O'Shea is gone. It's done. Jordan Kelly, though, is done for this race. He takes the race victory. Race number 1 goes to his way. Ronan Doherty in 2nd place. Dylan McClements rounds off another podium. Another impressive display from him so far this season. Sean McGoldrick in 4th place then does finally get away past Leo Richardson. Richardson really doing well to hold him back then, but Sean McGoldrick got his way through at the last. Brandon McCaughan in 6th place. Jason Smith up 7 places. Brilliant start from him tonight so far. Finishes in 7th place. Sean McClements in 8th place. Finley Melvin gets all sorts of out of shape at the final corner, but does make his way across the line. And he will finish there in 17th place. Philip Upson, we're just watching there. Just beaten to the line by Jamal Gandor. And, well, that was a very eventful opening race here at Le Mans. I'm very glad to say we still have 2 of them to go. Let's have a look back here at what happened here. I mean, Ronan, this is a case of contact made, and Rory O'Shea, there's nothing he can do at that point.
Oh, I'd say Rory is pulling. And oh, that's something we didn't see. Was that Ken Doyle behind him? Oh, that's just a massive shame for Rory, considering the race he had.
Yeah, he had to fight his way back through the order, didn't he? And yeah, you're right, Ken Doyle getting caught up in that incident as well. And for Ken, it's just a case of he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, unfortunately. But he did manage to get his way to the line. He managed to finish 12th in the end there. 3 minute 51 was his personal best. So yeah, that just shows you that, unfortunately for him, he got caught up in that and might have lost a couple of positions in doing so. Though having said that, Ken Doyle did manage to still gain 1 place in that race. Just waiting here for Ender Farrell to make his way towards the line. He still has 4 kilometres to run, but he will get there, and we will be there for it, for the number 28, who's currently running in P26. He's lost 8 positions in this race. In fact, it will become 25th place, won't it? Because Rory O'Shea retired from the race in the final couple of corners. So once Ender Farrell gets past in towards the karting S's, he will then take over 25th place from Rory O'Shea. That's the great shame for Rory O'Shea, Ronan, is that he will have to be starting from the next race where he finishes here, or rather where he doesn't finish. I think it's going to be 26th place if Ender Farrell gets his way to the line.
Yeah, he's got an absolute mammoth task to get himself back in contention here, especially with him being P1 in the championship. But knowing Rory, he will do a bit of traffic cutting, but can he make himself get up to the 8th place position? Not looking at that grid at the top at the moment, the finishing result in this race. Oh, I don't know. I can't see him. You know, it's probably a drop round for him at this stage.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I think you're right. But I'm sure we'll see Rory O'Shea power his way back through the field, and we'll see what he can do later on in the race then. And as we're just seeing here, Ender Farrell does go past Rory O'Shea, so O'Shea will be starting in 26th place. As Ender Farrell here, we're all waiting for him. The crowd's cheering here for Ender Farrell as he'll make his way through and towards the final chicane, or rather not in that case. But he does take 25th place in this race and is over the line as the last of our finishers for race number 1, which, well, Evan perfectly predicted. Just about the perfect amount of chaos. Jordan Kelly, though, taking the first win of the evening, then ahead of Ronan Doherty in 2nd place. Dylan McClements, another podium for him. He finishes in 3rd place. Sean McGoldrick in 4th. Leo Richardson in 5th place. Brandon McCaughan in 6th place with Jason Smith in 7th. Sean McClements in 8th. Bobby Joe McFall in 9th place with David Prunty rounding off the top 10. Kevin Joyce up 9 places. Brilliant race for him. He finished off in 11th place. 12th place went to Ken Doyle. 13th place to Aaron Dalton. 14th place to CJ O'Sullivan. 15th place, up 12 places, was Tony Stack. Brilliant stuff from him. Robbie Callahan in 16th place with Finley Melvin in 17th. Simon Hutchings in 18th place with Logan Hoy in 19th. 20th place went the way of Jamal Gandor. 21st is Philip Upson. 22nd place is Kyle Irvine. 23rd was Dermot Tooby. 24th was TJ Taff. 25th and non-finishing that race, Rory O'Shea. 26th place, Ender Farrell. So Ender Farrell does start behind him. Oh, it is the other way around. Fair enough. So Ender Farrell in 26th place, or 25th place. Rory O'Shea 26th, and Sebastian Scholten rounds off 27th place. And we get to do it all over again. This time, though, it's Jordan Kelly leading the field. That result I just showed out to you and read out to you is exactly how they start. Race 2 grid is determined by Race 1's results. And race 3 is determined by race 2's results, but the top 8 are reversed. So, let's see how this all goes to plan then. For Jordan Kelly, it's a win for him in race number 1 tonight. And Jordan Kelly, that was his second race win of the season. He's safe to say, round 2 for him did not go to plan, and it's safe to say that might be a dropped round, although, as far as I can see, he did not take part in race number, or round 3 I should say, last time out at Spa. So he's certainly on the back foot on this occasion, but a second race win for him certainly going to help him. Ronan, what do you predict for race 2?
More chaos? I think that's pretty
on the cards.
It's on the cards, I think. I think there'll be a small bit of battling at the front, but the front's pace, like the top, I would say 6. There's probably maybe 2 guys that are battling the right way there. I know Ronan did definitely get a slowdown in the first lap. I think that massively impacted him and just let Jordan get away with it. So maybe Ronan can get back in this one if he keeps it clean. So maybe we'll see some battling right up the front, hopefully. As for everything else, chaos.
I'm sure that's a pretty good prediction. Let us know who you're supporting tonight then in the chat as well. We'd love to hear from you as we get ourselves ready then for race number 2 this evening. Then this time it's Jordan Kelly who will control the pace and decide when we get this race underway. Ronan Doherty not too far behind him. He'll be looking for his second race win of the season, having won at round 2 in the first race there. But here we go then. Jordan Kelly gets the power down and gets a boot of oversteer to boot as well, but he's got himself away, and already there's chaos in the background then. That's Kyle Irvine who's around at the final corner. Didn't even get to the race start and he's already facing the wrong way. Now we head away on towards once again the second corner. We saw a little bit of carnage here last time around, but that is Leo Richardson who gets his way past Sean McClements, but that's someone around. That's Sean McGoldrick. Sean McGoldrick around at the top of the descent then, at the chapel descent, and now tries to make his way rejoining the order, but he's fallen all the way now inside the top 20 at least, but fallen all the way down the order then. And Jason Smith is up to 4th place. Brilliant stuff from Jason on this start, but look how far behind he is of the likes of Dylan McClements up ahead. Sean McClements is powering his way back through. He swoops his way past Brandon McCon. He got a great launch out of Tetra Rouge then, as we head away towards that first chicane, at least down the Mulsanne straight. Someone's already still trying to warm up the tyres at this early stage in the race. Rory O'Shea, meanwhile, has kept his head down in the chaos. He's now up into 8th place right now, having started all the way down in 26th place. Jason Smith there in 4th, but look at the battle behind them then. Leo Richardson running wide, and I thought he had the one-way ticket to the tyre wall then, but he managed to get it back all under control. Has lost a couple of positions in doing so. That's someone running a little bit wide in the background there. But we have the likes of Bobby Joe McFall, who's now up into 7th place, as Rory O'Shea, again, another position for him in the background. We're running 2 by 2 at the moment down this second part of the straight, as we head away onwards then towards the second chicane. But there's a little bit of contact between McCawhon and Sean McClements then. McCawhon gets the position for now on the run out of that second chicane, and we make our way onwards then towards the Mulsanne curve down at the bottom of this straight. Riding on board then with Leo Richardson, as he will benefit maybe from the tow just up ahead of the likes of McCawhon and McClements. McCawhon and McClements themselves are battling away. Kevin Joyce is looking onwards then, maybe licking his lips at the chance of a battle down in towards the next corner at Mulsanne. But Brandon McCaw is around. Someone's around in the background there. That's Ken Doyle. He manages to get himself out of harm's way, but that was also a moment there. Was that CJ O'Sullivan who was briefly around at the moment and almost got tipped back into shape there as he made his way through? Meanwhile, the leaders have absolutely catapulted away from the rest of the field. Jordan Kelly leads from Ronan Doherty in second place as we head away in towards Indianapolis then. Riding on board with Doherty then as he makes his way then onwards towards Arnage. And that's Dylan McClements taking quite a bit of track limits there, running a little bit deep. But there's Sean McClements who runs even deeper in towards that corner. Indianapolis doesn't seem to be treating the McClements well in this early stage in the race. Both Dylan and Sean being caught out, maybe with the colder tyres at this early stage. Sean McClements, though, dropping down to 7th place. He's got Leo Richardson right on his tail, right ahead of him, I should say, to see if he can find a way past. There's your battle for the lead then. Kelly leads Doherty. Dylan McClements in 3rd place, but still, he's really focused on Rory O'Shea at this stage of the championship. Ronan Doherty could reel himself back in as well, so we'll see what he can do at the top of the order. But Ronan Doherty right now very comfortable in this. Although he'll want the win, and Ronan Doherty looks like he's got that lead back then. So here we go then, in towards the final couple of corners. Doherty takes the lead over from Jordan Kelly as he makes his way through in towards that final chicane. Back on the power we go then. Lap 1 is completed. We've had 3 minutes 45 on the clock already. It's Doherty leading from Kelly and McClements in 3rd place. And there you can see battling in the background there for 7th place. Let's have a replay here. And what's Ronan? Let's have another look at this then. So Ronan Doherty sizing up this opportunity then through in towards the karting S's. And he'll make his way towards the Corvette corner here. Jordan Kelly may be running slightly wide there. Ah, yes, you're right. You're right. So slow down there for Jordan Kelly. That allowed Ronan Doherty to find his way into the lead of this race. So, yeah, well played then from Doherty. Well, you have to keep it in the white lines. And there you see an absolute armada then trying to find their way through. That's Robbie Callahan, with Simon Hutchings, who's up to 13th place. A good start from the Welshman at this stage, as Robbie Callahan looking to see if he can find a way past David Prunty. Jordan Kelly, meanwhile, up close and personal with Ronan Doherty then. You can't really see much more than Jordan Kelly in that camera view. I'm sure that's going to be the same for Doherty as we make our way in towards that first chicane then. Onwards we go. Dylan McClements not too far behind. He'll be hoping that the two ahead of him start squabbling for position, and that might help him catch back up. But Jason Smith is really starting to try and close in there. But that's contact, is it? Robbie Callahan certainly in trouble. And he's towed it back to the pits then. So Robbie Callahan might be out of this one. He might rejoin later on in this race. Meanwhile then, there's a battle going on then. Bobby Joe McFall and Kevin Joyce going side by side then, as we'll make our way onwards here. Is that Kevin Joyce who's just about got himself a nose ahead on this occasion? Yes, it is. McFall just backs out of this one on this occasion as we head in towards the second chicane. Kevin Joyce up to 8th place. McFall down to 9th. Rory O'Shea then up into 10th place then. So, yeah, up 16 positions at this point is Rory O'Shea. And, yeah, as you say, Ronan, absolutely crazy at this point.
Yeah, that's an absolute comeback if I've ever seen one. Up 16 places. Like, Rory would be one to take, you know, good opportunities, but obviously he's taken every single gap that he's seen. It's very much of the standing of a P1 in championship right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's looking to see what he can recover at this stage. Jordan Kelly, meanwhile, looking to see if he can get back the race win for. He'll be looking for his 3rd race win of this season. Ronan Doherty's looking for his 2nd race win of the season. And this really has been a case of consistency has been well and truly rewarded. I mean, our top 2 in the championship, one of them, Dylan McClements, up there, hasn't had a win so far this season, but he's had plenty of podiums, and that's what's so important for him, to be up and around the sort of championship battle again. You see then Sean McGoldrick battling away with Simon Hutchings as we get back onto the power out of the Virage de Donnage as we head away onwards then towards these flowing sections here. Takes a brave drive to go side by side through this part, but it won't stop our drivers, that's for sure. Hutchings up the inside then, as he'll have to see if he can hang it around the outside this time against McGoldrick, and watch out as well for Logan Hoy as the three of them get caught up in this battle. Then Logan Hoy seeing if he can find a way past Simon Hutchings, who those two have battled before already in race number 1. Meanwhile then, Leo Richardson and Brandon McCaughey trying to battle away in towards these final chicanes. Brandon McCaughey able to keep a hold of 5th place, but look at Leo Richardson right on the back of him as we get back onto the power across the start-finish line. We have 7.5 minutes on the clock, so we're probably looking at 2, maybe we could even have 3 more laps on this occasion. It just depends on how quick Ronan Doherty and Jordan Kelly are and whether they start squabbling away for position. McCaughey ahead of Richardson at the time being. Meanwhile, further down the order, this is a battle for 20th place. Jamal Gandor and Tony Stack battling our way through. Aaron Dalton's not too far behind either, as Tony Stack flashing the lights as well. Just reminding Jamal that he's there. Don't think Jamal needed any reminding, but Tony Stack is giving them a reminder anyway as we head away in towards the 2nd and 3rd corners then. Here's our battle for 3rd place. Dylan McClements and Jason Smith, who's been on an absolute charge. Jason Smith set the fastest lap of the race last time around, a 3 minute 37.8. And he's looking to make that to good use then. Looking to draw himself alongside Dylan McClements and makes his way past then. So he's using that slipstream to really good effect. And Smith is now up into 3rd place. Rory O'Shea looking to try and find a way past Kevin Joyce. Once again, he's going to have to use these long straights and try and be later on the brakes than Kevin Joyce here. He's into the top 8. You're absolutely right, Ronan. There it is. Brilliant stuff. He'll get the power down. Can he keep ahead here of Kevin Joyce? Joyce is still there. He's still leaving the door open, is Rory O'Shea. He kind of has to at that point. But Leo Richardson, we join onto this battle, is looking to try and find a way past Brandon McCaughey as we head away onwards towards this 2nd chicane then. And the two of them swooping away here, trying to see what they can do to put each other off. Kevin Joyce, though, is going back here at Rory O'Shea, up the inside in towards that 2nd chicane, but we've got a car off there. That's Brandon McCaughey, who's off at the 2nd chicane, and I wonder if that had anything to do with this squabble with Leo Richardson. Well, that's another position there for Rory O'Shea. He'll be up another position, up 18 now. If he can get away past Kevin Joyce, he'll be up 19 places, and I'm assuming here, Ronan, this is what happened to Brandon McCaughey.
Yeah, just as we cut away, because I was trying to keep an eye on 2 battles at the same time. It looks like he possibly outbraked himself, because I know he's been super aggressive here. Let's see what happened. Oh, yes, he did, absolutely. Oh, a shame, but, you know, it was the price for being that aggressive, I think.
Yeah, you know, we love to see a sort of aggressive battles here, but you leave the braking slightly too late, and that's what happens. He gets all sorts of locked up. There's absolutely nothing you can do. But still, Kevin Joyce is really putting up a battle here with Rory O'Shea. O'Shea just cannot shake him at this point. As we head away in towards Indianapolis, he's still there, is Kevin Joyce, but he has to back out of it. Momentum favoured O'Shea, and now Brandon McCaughey is looking for a move then to try and go round the outside at Arnage, and he does get that move done then. So Kevin Joyce, really great battle between himself and Rory O'Shea. O'Shea had to work hard for that position. Now he's up into 7th place. Leaders then are making their way through in towards the back end of the circuit. It's still Ronan Doherty ahead of Jordan Kelly as they now file their way through in towards the Virage de Corvette, as we're somehow going 3 wide into these S's here. Not the greatest idea in the world, but that's why I'm not behind the cockpit, because Finley Melvin has made his way through then. Sean McGoldrick now rounds off, or should say in 11th place. Finley Melvin in 10th now as we head away through in towards the back end of the circuit. There's our 2 leaders then. Ronan Doherty makes his way around the final corner, and with 11 minutes to go, oh sorry, it's not 11 minutes to go, 11 minutes elapsed, we probably have 2 laps worth of racing to go here. Doherty ahead of Kelly at this stage. Side by side we go. Then Sean McGoldrick has the inside line, but he gets slightly compromised here, and that's Finley Melvin trying to find his way through. He will compromise his own exit out of the final corner, but can Bobby Joe McFall find his way through? Look how much that cost him for Finley Melvin to lose that ground on Sean McGoldrick, and Bobby Joe McFall trying to see if he can find a way through as we head away onwards then towards Valentisieux Dunlop, and up we go then over that crest. It's a blind curve, that one as well. You're not quite sure what's over that curve until you're actually through then. Jason Smith currently 3rd place. Dylan McClements has kept on the back of him at the moment for 4th place as we head away onwards then to the Hyun Ardier of the Mulsanne straight, whichever takes your fancy. Jason Smith able to hold his line for now. Dylan McClements is just happy to stay behind him for now, perhaps just planning that maybe now's not the time to try and find the move. Perhaps it's worth staying in the slipstream of Jason Smith and leaving that move for somewhere like we head our way down towards Mulsanne. The Mulsanne corner. All sorts of strategy, even in a sprint race on this occasion. Dylan McClements looking to see if he can grab another podium in this race. Most of the field have started to spread out here. There's a couple of pockets of battles going on. Rory O'Shea has not been able to shake Brandon McCawhon. McCawhon's about 6/10 behind at the moment, but O'Shea is coming his way through there. And I mean, Ronan, great race so far, eh?
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. And just literally after getting a comment in there, Johnny Hollywood is watching. He wasn't able to get in tonight, but he said, did Ronan just kiss the wall in the Porsche curves? That may have what compromised him against Jordan there, but again, for him to get up half a second already again is just incredible. But yeah, it looked like Ronan possibly kissed Porsche curves on the way through.
So nothing wrong with a little smooch with the barriers. Just shows you're using as much of the track as possible. But yeah, there might be a slight bit of damage on there. But Finley Melvin, meanwhile, is looking to try and find a way past Simon Hutchings here. Well, that's a brave place to do it, down into towards Mulsanne. Simon Hutchings was not about to give him the move very easily there. And you saw Finley Melvin got onto the marbles there and found it hard to actually turn the car in. Brandon McCawhon and Rory O'Shea going side by side as we head our way now towards the Corbett of Golf. And can Rory O'Shea get another position in this race? He's already got himself onto reverse grid pole. He'll now go down the order in reverse grid, but he won't care about that. He'll now have the inside line heading in towards Indianapolis. Can he get the car slowed down? Can he get it to bite in? Yes, he can. And Rory O'Shea now up into 7th place. Brandon McCawhon looks for a move down the inside, but ultimately decides against it. McCawhon, though, has proved to Rory O'Shea he's not an easy adversary to get rid of. He's not an easy adversary to shake off. And Rory O'Shea will be seeing if he can close in on Sean McClements. That might be the final position that Rory O'Shea can get at this stage. Still, from pretty much the back of the grid, he's got a chance here of finishing in 6th place in this race, Ronan. That's remarkable stuff.
Unbelievable. That is possibly one of the greatest comebacks I've seen in RTA so far. 19 places. That's just insane.
It's really, really good as we head away out of the final corner then. And with just about 20 seconds on the clock, Ronan Doherty starts his final lap of the race then, with Jordan Kelly not too far behind either. Rory O'Shea then, we're watching on as he chases down Sean McClements. How critical could this be? If it's not a dropped round, just shows you, you might have worse rounds later down the line. You might miss a round at any point. Rory O'Shea is proving here that he didn't put his head down. He had that crash at the end of the first race. He didn't let that set him back whatsoever. Has a chance to grab a 6th place here. Stunning drive from O'Shea, and he managed to pick up 8 positions, I think, on the first lap, which, okay, it's 13 kilometres, but still, to get that many positions in the first half of the lap, first 3 quarters, is nothing short of brilliant stuff. Yeah,
even just to say there as well, there goes McClements gone wide, and both Brandon McCawhon gone wide as well. That is unbelievable. So like, I was just about to say, Rory is sitting pretty in P2 for the next race, but he's actually now P3. But even to have Sean and Brandon in front of him, look at his pace versus them. It's just, I'm stunned. 20 places he's up. Brilliant stuff from Rory. He'll be very, very happy with that one, I'm sure. And I think it's going to be I think it might be more difficult, because Brandon McCawhon has managed to match Rory O'Shea for pace at certain points of this lap, at certain points of this race. So I don't think it's going to be too easy for Rory O'Shea to get ahead and stay ahead in the early stages. Simon Hutchings, meanwhile, battling away with Finley Melvin in the second chicane. Finley Melvin trying to get the power down. He draws himself alongside the Welshman, and we get our way back onto the power. And can Finley Melvin, I think he is he? No, Simon Hutchings is just ahead at the moment. Watch out in the background as well for David Prunty and Logan Hoy, who's managing to get his way through then. David Prunty managing to stay where he is, whilst Logan Hoy swoops in to take a little bit of slipstream up ahead. Battle for the lead then on the final lap. Doherty leads Kelly then as we head away out of Arnage, as we make our way onwards towards the Corbett
de Buisson, and well, it gets to a stage here where it's all medium speed corners. There's not many positions here, not many opportunities for Jordan Kelly to see if he can find a way through, but he is closing and closing on Ronan Doherty. He knows as we head away down towards Indianapolis, this will probably be one of the final chances to get the move done. Round the outside he goes. It'll give him the inside line for Indianapolis though. Doherty trying to run wide, but he runs too wide onto the gravel here. Jordan Kelly takes over the race lead as we head away towards Arnage, and that might be the race winning move here from Jordan Kelly. Kevin Joyce meanwhile battling away with Brandon McCawhan, and Ronan Doherty's slowed down even more here. Maybe he had a slow down for that one as well, because he's lost a chunk of time to Jordan Kelly, about 3 seconds, maybe he's more than that in that case, because he's lost the position as well as McCawhan goes very defensive against Kevin Joyce, and the two of them make contact, and Sean McGoldrick says thank you very much, there's a 2-for-1 sale on, I'll take both your positions please, and moves up into 8th place and charges away now. Meanwhile then, Finley Melvin, oh, someone's running deep. I think that was Simon Hutchings who runs deep in towards Arnage then. Philip Upson takes over that position, so Simon Hutchings now is down to 17th place. After what was looking like such a brilliant drive for the Welshman, he's fallen down the order at the very end here. But someone who didn't fall down at the end, Jordan Kelly, is going to make it another race win tonight. Race 2 for him tonight. Race 3 of the season win for him. He wins race 2 at Le Mans and once again gets himself a victory under his belt. Ronan Doherty again in 2nd place. Jason Smith rounds off the top 3. Brilliant drive to get himself up the order. Dylan McClements in 4th place as he crosses the line there, with Leo Richardson across the line in 5th. Brilliant drive of the race from Rory O'Shea to pick up 6th place. Absolutely stunning, as Ronan said, up 20 places from where he started that race, having crashed out at the end of the first race. There's Sean McGoldrick then, who finishes in 8th place, and yeah, good drive from him to get himself there into 8th place. He had a struggle with that one because he lost 4, but manages to get some all-important points. CJ O'Sullivan finishing there in 12th place, ahead of Finley Melvin, who's had a bit of a roller coaster time of it so far tonight. But one thing's for sure is that he's able to try and get himself the points, at least a handful of points there. But Jordan Kelly takes race win number 2 tonight and manages to get himself up there. I mean, that 4-second gap is absolutely no indication of how this race went. Ronan Doherty 2nd place, Jason Smith in 3rd with Dylan McClements in 4th place, Leo Richardson in 5th with Rory O'Shea in 6th, Sean McClements in 7th with Sean McGoldrick in 8th, Brandon McCawhan in 9th with Kevin Joyce in 10th, Bobby Joe McFall 11th with CJ O'Sullivan 12th, Logan Hoy in 13th place, David Prunty in 14th, Finley Melvin 15th, Philip Upson in 16th, Simon Hutchings in 17th, Enda Farrell in 18th place, TJ Taft in 19th, Tony Stack in 20th, Aaron Dalton in 21st, Dermot Toomey in 22nd, Carl Irvine 23rd, Jamal Gandor in 24th, Ken Doyle 25th, Robbie Callahan 26th, and Sebastian Scholten, I don't think started this race, but he is still there in 27th place. I wonder then who we can have a chat to in the sort of, whilst we get ourselves organised for race number 2. I'm going to see, well, let's see if we can grab our race winner probably. That's probably a good place to start in Jordan Kelly. Jordan, can you hear us?
Can indeed.
Jordan, 2 race wins for you so far. Brilliant battle between yourself and Ronan Doherty. And I mean, talk us through that last lap. We saw it there at Indianapolis on that last race. I mean, you were sizing that up for a while, were you?
It's hard to do the slow stuff in these cars to get close, but I got the first sector right in the last lap. I didn't actually get a chance, but I caught up enough just to get in the tow, and lucky enough, Ronan actually went off, and we're going into Le Mans there, and or Indianapolis, and it was easy enough from that. But it's hard. The car is actually harder than it was in previous weeks since the update today, and there's a few people struggling, so I kind of benefited from that, I think, more than anything else.
Well, Jordan, that's your 3rd race win of the season so far. Obviously, you missed Spa, and that's put you a little bit down the order. But what's your aim for this season then? Is this a title challenge you can mount in this season?
I don't think so now at this rate, but just works getting in the way of everything. But it's not really, if I'm being honest, it's not really a car I'm enjoying driving. So, but again, the racing's always good, so that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I'll let you get back to prepare for another race in a car you don't like, which you've taken 3 wins so far this season. Jordan, thank you so much for speaking to us. Good luck for race 3.
Thanks, Kieran.
Let's see who we can grab for our second interview. I think it's going to be Ronan at some point, and get him on there. Ronan, could you hear us?
Yeah.
Ronan, 2 second places for you, but a good battle between yourself and Jordan Kelly. I mean, talk us through it from your point of view.
Yeah, no, I was happy enough. Even though I was on pole, Jordan's definitely quicker than me, so I'm happy enough with 2 seconds, and he hasn't done a lot of the championship, even though my championship's kind of over already anyway. So I was happy enough considering my pace, and then I made a mistake. Whenever he was going past me, I tried to hold it on the outside and went through the gravel. And with the new update today, if you go through the gravel, you've 0 grip the next corner. So I just turned in and it completely went round. But no, I'm looking forward to the last one. Be a bit of crack.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting 7th place then. Is it a case, I mean, you managed to keep Jordan behind you for a majority of that race. Is that something you can do for a bit longer next time around?
I don't know. It's always hard to tell. Just try and survive and have a bit of fun. Like, I'll be happy enough if I get top 3, you know.
Yeah, and obviously we'll then let you get prepared for race number 3. But Ronan, thank you so much for talking to us, and hopefully we'll talk to you after the race.
Cheers.
Thank you, Ronan, and let's see if we can quickly squeeze in Jason Smith here before we get going again. Jason, can you hear us?
I can indeed, yeah.
Jason, I mean, what a drive from you so far tonight. I mean, you up 7 places in race 1, up 4 places in race 2. You're in a tremendous vein of form, considering you picked up a couple of race wins as well this season.
Yeah, no, it was a good few races damage limitation. The car changed from, it was an update today, and the car is totally different. I didn't even get any testing. I had to jump straight into qualifying, and it was like learning a new track and a new car. It's just unbelievable. But look, I had a good few finishes. I think I'm just about on the pace with the lads ahead, so we'll see what the last race comes like.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are you expecting from the final race then? Can you make your way one better, maybe onto the top step of the podium?
No, definitely, that's the aim. That's always the aim, to go out and win a race, but we'll see how it unfolds.
Yeah, Jason, I want to say as well, 3 race wins so far for you this season. I mean, Spa really treated you well. How have you found the car so far?
Yeah, no, like I really got used to the car when the old car, you can kind of say now, I was on the boards. I felt really comfortable in it, but now this is a total different beast altogether. Braking, mid corner, turn in, everything is just unbelievable. Even the limiter on the straights, I'm keeping him in the limiter by accident. But yeah, no, should be good.
Well, Jason, I'll let you get prepared for race number 3 then. But thank you so much for talking to us. Good luck out there, and we'll see if you can get another race win on your belt.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Jason. And we're heading then for getting ready for our 20-minute race then. Ronan, we flipped the top 8. I mean, we've already seen some very aggressive tyre warming. What are we expecting for the final race then? More chaos?
I don't know. That kind of was a bit more uniform. It was kind of more chaos maybe further down the grid that race. So it could be anything. But to be honest, with Rory that high up and the kind of redemption drive he had in that, I will be putting all of my money on him.
All of your money?
All of my money.
That's a brave bet there, Ronan. That is a brave bet. I mean, so we've got a 20-minute race. We're lapping at 3 minute 37, so we're probably going to get 6 laps if math serves me well.
Yeah, we should get about 6 laps in this race. But like, look at the action we were able to get even in a 10 and a 15-minute race. So let's just hope that the action serves us well tonight. But yeah, look at that top. Ooh, look at that top 8. Actually, yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll be a great sight to see. I'm very, very sure indeed. But we'll see how it all plays out, Ronan.
Yeah, absolutely. If the last race is anything to go by, a slightly longer one, a bit more endurance style than the shorter races that we've been doing on such a long track. Let's hope for a good one.
Let's hope indeed, and I'm sure we'll get up and ready once we get going there, and I'm sure Sean McGoldrick then will be on that reverse grid pole then, as I think they're all rolling. I'm a bit in the dark at the moment, but Sean McGoldrick and Sean McClements share that front row. Rory O'Shea in 3rd, with Leah Richardson in 4th place, with Dylan McClements in 5th place, Ronan Doherty in 6th, and Jason Smith in 7th place with Brandon McCaughan in 8th place then. But we're all getting ready to go here. It's a brilliant sight, as you said, Ronan. Behind the pace truck we go. And yes, we've got a Lotus livery on the front row. Kimi Räikkönen, who I wonder. Just don't tell him what to do. That's all I'll say.
Let's hopefully Sean McGoldrick's not getting paid in wins like a certain person was at one stage. He might bankrupt the company again.
Might do. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens at this stage. But Sean McGoldrick will be the driver who gets ourselves underway. Then he does have a chance to get a race victory. Let's see what he can do on this occasion. His best finish so far this season was 5th, and that was at the first round of asking. Can he go one better tonight? Let's have a look and see. Let's see what all unfolds as our drivers then make their way through in towards the final couple of corners. The pace truck will disappear. And yeah, it's a very change of momentum there, that truck. But here we go then, on to our final race of the evening. It's Sean McGoldrick who gets us underway. Sean McClements in 2nd place, Rory O'Shea in 3rd, as we'll make our way onwards then towards the first couple of corners, through in towards the Dunlop curve then. And already there, that's Dylan McClements trying to see if he can find a way past Jason Smith, and Smith actually finding the way through. And that's a bit of contact, is it, up at the front? Well, Sean McGoldrick is certainly off the circuit. He rejoins back into 5th place. Ronan outbraked himself, he says. So that'll be why. But meanwhile, Rory O'Shea takes over the lead then, ahead of Sean McClements. It's then Leah Richardson in 3rd place, Jason Smith in 4th, with Dylan McClements in 5th place. And this is so important for McClements here. For Dylan, he has to make sure he gets ahead and stays ahead of championship protagonists. But we're going side by side here, Rory O'Shea and Sean McClements. McClements trying to swoop around the outside here as we head away on towards the first part of the Mulsanne Straight. Onwards and downwards then towards that first chicane. Dylan McClements just has to be careful he doesn't lose that toe up ahead here. 2 wide, 3 wide. What are you going to do, guys? Behave yourselves down in towards the first chicane. Sean McClements able to stay ahead here. Jason Smith trying to power his way through, which he does, and gets ahead of Rory O'Shea. Leo Richardson as well tries to get himself through. There's a massive lock-up in the background there. Not sure who that was. It's just appearing out of the tyre wall there. But that is Finlay Melvin, who's in trouble again as he now makes his way back onto the circuit. Sean McClements, though, was he able to hold back the likes of Leo Richardson and Jason Smith? Leo Richardson now in the slipstream of Sean McClements. But there's a big moment there, is it? There was a car off there and several cars off, one off into the wall, which was Rory O'Shea. Rory O'Shea, I wondered there was a car off at high speed into that wall. I imagine that car is going to be very heavily damaged and making its way back onto the circuit. But Sean McClements then leads the way. Jason Smith in 2nd place. I wonder, Ronan, if we've got another view of that one. Sean McGoldrick under pressure then from Brandon McCaughan as we make our way down in towards the Mulsanne corner. And that's Brandon McCaughan going off the track then and wide, and there's absolutely no grip out there. And he finds himself into the gravel, having to rejoin onto this track then. Jason Smith here is looking for another win. He's looking to go round and see if he can find a way past Sean McClements at this early stage, which he has done. Jason Smith leads then with Sean McClements in 2nd place, Sean McGoldrick in 3rd. He was off at the first couple of corners. He went down to 5th, now back up to 3rd. It's Dylan McClements in 4th place, Kevin Joyce in 5th, Logan Hoy in 6th, CJ O'Sullivan in 7th place, with Brandon McCaughan in 8th place, but looking to try and see if he can find a way down the inside of CJ O'Sullivan. There's contact between them then, and CJ O'Sullivan runs wide, picks up a bit of gravel on his way through. CJ Tuff now up into 8th place, and we'll try and take a break in the action, Ronan, to find out what happened. I assume this is going to be further up the field. See, we will see what happened here. Yeah, here we go then. So, massive contact there. But Rory O'Shea, I did wonder, I saw a car go flying off in the distance there.
Just wondering there, that looked very much like a VRA livery, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a look in some slow-mo here. There is a VRA car here in the background. I think that might have been the culprit. Speed up a small bit, and now.
So gets onto the braking. It's Jordan Kelly, yeah.
Oh my God.
Goes into the back. Goes into the back of the number 7 of Rory O'Shea. That's a big moment in this championship standings here, as Jordan Kelly goes into the back. It's just a case, I guess, there. Jordan Kelly just absolutely misjudged that one and just heads straight into the back of the number 7 there. Meanwhile, Simon Hutchings is in 10th place, but doesn't have a lot of momentum here. We haven't talked about it. Ronan Doherty has fallen down the order here, but now into 10th place as he looks to make his way back up the order. And, well, it's safe to say here, this race has had a little bit of everything. Jordan Kelly is also into the pits. I wonder if he got quite a bit of front-end damage on that one and has made his way back into the pits. Either way, Rory O'Shea, Jordan Kelly, both in the pits right now. And for Jason Smith, this is a chance for him, Ronan, to grab a race victory here.
Yeah, that was written on the wall once some of the protagonists were taken out at the start there. Massively disappointing. But for the likes of Rory, who looked like he was massively on for a win there, and of no fault of his own, unfortunately. Second time tonight. But look, it happens. We've seen it happen time and time again, where it's of no fault of of someone that has the true pace.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jason Smith came into tonight 4th in the championship. As we see here, CJ O'Sullivan trying to see if he can find a way past Simon Hutchings. No way through for him at that stage, but I'm sure he'll keep on trying and trying the best he can to see what he can do. There's Tony Stackton. We're riding on board with him as he tries to see if he can stay close behind Kyle Irvine in the battle for 13th place in that little livery ahead of him. Tony Stack here on the back in the slipstream, looking to try and now get the inside line in towards the second chicane here. Can he get that move done? And well, the blinking might not help too much for Tony Stack, but he does get the move done and moves himself ahead. Jamal Gandor also looking to try and find the way through. Dermot Toomey, who's had a bit of a miserable evening tonight, he gets himself though up into 18th place ahead of Bobby Joe McFall. We're down to 21 runners at the moment. Jordan Kelly's rejoined the race in 21st, but he is, I think, a lap down at the very least. Rory O'Shea is also back into this race. We could have a race for 21st place on our hands here. Rory O'Shea will be definitely looking to see if he can pick up as many points as possible. Came into this as the championship leader, with Dylan McClements only 7 points behind, but of course that doesn't take into account any dropped rounds at this stage. Sean McClements then second place. He's got Sean McGoldrick right behind him. Oh, he's got him very much right behind him there. Sean McGoldrick runs into the back of Sean McClements down in towards Indianapolis, and both of them take an excursion off the track. That's going to put Dylan McClements now up into second place, and I imagine that's going to be very heavy damage there for Sean McGoldrick, as both Kevin Joyce, Logan Hoy, Brandon McCawhan both find their way through. And we'll see what happens here for Sean McGoldrick as he gets his way back up to running order. And yeah, that's just a case here. Again, Sean McGoldrick tried to be later on the brakes, but went straight into the back of Sean McClements.
Yeah, very unusual. Like the closing speed was massive there, and actually he didn't hit him as hard as it looked. I think it was just the onboard that we had at the time. But yeah, very unusual to, you know, the closing speed into that corner. Maybe Sean was a bit early on it, but yeah, that's a couple of bad losses for Sean McGoldrick.
Yeah, a couple of positions lost. You're right. The contact wasn't as bad as it made it look out on the camera. But yeah, either way, both of them heading off the track for the briefest of moments. Brandon McCawhan in 5th place here. Logan Hoy, by the way, up into 6th place, up 7 places from where he started in this third race. So this really has been a case of the heavy hitters are really heavy hitting, but not out on the track. They're sort of colliding and tangling up with each other at the moment. This is allowing, if you're further down the championship, if you're like Logan Hoy, who's 8th in the championship right now, this is a perfect opportunity to get some much needed points, as that's Philip Upson, who's facing the, McFall, who's facing the wrath there of Philip Upson. Philip Upson managing to, spin around. I don't know how much contact there was between them. I looked away for a fraction of a second. When I looked back, they were both sideways. But both of them tangling with each other, it looks like. CJ O'Sullivan, though, looking to see what he can do. He's got Leo Richardson right behind him as we'll make our way on towards the first part of the Mulsanne Straight. That's TJ Taff in 9th place, just further up the road, riding on board now with Leo Richardson. He draws side by side now with CJ O'Sullivan as he'll make his way down the Mulsanne Straight, and he'll pull ever closer to Simon Hutchings up ahead. With the help of that slipstream up ahead of him, he's able to take over that position from CJ O'Sullivan. And now down in towards the first chicane we go. And back on the power we go. Onwards towards that next part. And will there be a way through here? Meanwhile, Logan Hoy And has got Sean McGoldrick right behind him. McGoldrick keen and eager to make up positions here, as he'll look to see what he can do down towards the second chicane then. He's got the inside line for the left-hand turn initially. Does he get the braking right here? Sean McGoldrick on the inside. Logan Hoy, though, hands over the inside line to him. As just behind them as well, Ronan Doherty is not too far behind either. 7th place in the standings as we head into tonight. 2 podiums, 2 second places for Doherty. Will not go too far amiss, but he'll want to get his way up the order as best as he can. We didn't quite see what happened to him, but he fell as far as 11th place, considering he started 7th in this race. Lost a couple of positions at the start, but that's a position gained against Sean McGoldrick. Up into 7th place he goes. Logan Hoy is next as we make our way back onto the power and out of the Mulsanne corner there. On board with Doherty then, as he'll look to the right-hand side of the track, riding the curb to boot as well. And look at that momentum he's got against Logan Hoy here. The inside line for this next right-hander. Initially, he'll have the inside line for Indianapolis, but it will become the outside line. He'll want to get the nose ahead. He'll want to take the racing line away, which he does. Very nicely done from Ronan Doherty. Moves himself up into 7th place, 6th place, I should say. Runs a little bit wide, but he's kept the position. And Sean McGoldrick, who was very keen to get his way through. But that's Brandon McCawhan, who's off there at Arnage and has to rejoin the track. He's fallen down to 8th place. That's another position, though, for Doherty, for McGoldrick, for Logan Hoy. And look at that as well. TJ Tuff also finding his way through. He's going to move himself up into 8th place here. And just a quick look at the time. Yeah, we've had 10.5 minutes of this race. We've had half the time elapsed so far. What hasn't happened in this race, Ronan? It's been unbelievable.
Oh, it's been crazy. There's a couple of names that you would not have expected up in the top 10 in this race with all the carnage that we've had. I've had a very good comment in here on YouTube as well from Evan. Driver of the day, iRacing for the car updates.
Yes. Good nomination. We don't have to flip a coin for that one, do we, Evan? That's a good point. Brandon McCawhan then trying to put the pressure on TJ Tuff, heading our way through in towards the final chicanes here as we head our way through. And TJ Tuff having to hold on to that position. Meanwhile, Jamal Gandor is looking to see what he can do. I think he's just been passed there by Kyle Irvine in towards these final chicanes here. And Kyle Irvine misses that final chicane. He might get a slowdown for that one. And I think he does. Well, he'll have to lose a little bit of time there. Jamal Gandor, I think, agreeing with me there. The flash of the lights indicates that, hang on a minute, you should be slowing down there. Meanwhile, he's under pressure, though, from Bobby Joe McFall as we make our way now in towards the next corner. Oh, that's a big lock up there for McFall. Manages to gather it up. Well held, Bobby Joe McFall. Able to hold that on. And I think Dermot Toomey there was in two minds of which way to go. He didn't really know what was going to happen there. But good driving from Bobby Joe. And he's able to hold on to that position. Meanwhile then, Simon Hutchings gets ahead of Leo Richardson. That's a place for inside the top 10. Jason Smith up 5 positions. Dylan McClements up 3. Kevin Joyce up 7. TJ Tuff up 9. Kyle Irvine up 9. Jamal Gandor up 9. Yes, there's a couple of positions there that have been handed to him on a silver platter by the likes of Jordan Kelly and Rory O'Shea, tripping over each other. But still, you have to be there out on the track to take advantage and take those positions. I think, as we said, for those that haven't scored many points tonight or in the previous 3 rounds, this is the perfect opportunity to really mix up the midfield of the championship.
Yeah, just you've actually surprised me there. Kevin Joyce in P3. That is an absolute result for him if he can hold on to that. I know he's in the top 10 in the championship, but that is going to give him a lovely haul of points, and I think he was fairly consistent all night too. Yeah,
I mean, Kevin Joyce before tonight had 5th place as the best finish so far this season. Came, I think, very round 2 it was. But looking back at this, yeah, it's been a really good night for him so far. Just having a look at the previous results for him, for Kevin Joyce to get himself up there. I mean, he finished 10th in race 2 and he finished 11th in race 1. So yeah, he's been consistently there, picking up those points. But yeah, what a result this could be if he's able to hold on to the podium. But there's someone who could ruin the party.
Might have just got my first commentator's curse.
Well, there's someone who could stop that party. It's Sean McClements here, who's looking to try and find his way past down in towards Indianapolis. Let's see what he can do then. Kevin Joyce, well, we've seen him. He's able to put up a defensive display here. He's not just going to roll over. He will put up a fight. He will get the elbows out. And like I was saying before, the likes of Rory O'Shea, he was really seeing to struggle to get away from the likes of Brandon McCawthon and Kevin Joyce. So not done deal, even if you find your way past. And look at that in the distance as well. Ronan Doherty trying to catch these two. No surprise to see Jordan Kelly with the fastest lap of the race last time around, 3:37.9. And so far, that's our fastest lap of this race. And we have had 14 minutes and 13 seconds so far in this race. We've just got about 6.5 minutes, maybe 5.5 minutes actually, till race end. So we've probably got 2 laps worth of running to go here, with Jason Smith who leads the way from Dylan McClements and Kevin Joyce rounding up the top 3. But Sean McClements runs a little bit too deep into one of these S's, and that really compromises your run through that entire back end of the lap. And he'll lose a little bit of time here. He's dropped half a second back from Kevin Joyce. I don't think this is going to be an easy move for Sean McClements. Kevin Joyce is going to try and hold on to this one for as long as he can. There is a chance of a podium for him. The first podium of the season for Kevin Joyce. Will he be able to do it? There's Jamal Gandor sticking behind Carl Irvine at this point in the race. A battle for 14th place, but it might soon be that Jamal Gandor gets the inside move. Now, going too wide through here doesn't normally work, and it doesn't really work this time around. They both sort of trip each other up, both slow each other down, and that allows the likes of Bobby Joe McFall, Dermot Tooby, Enda Farrell to really close up to that position. Here's a battle then for another position in 7th place. Brandon McCawthon and Logan Hoy battling away for a place in that 7th place spot. Both of them up a couple of positions here. Brandon McCawthon up 2 places, Logan Hoy up 5, and Logan Hoy is looking to try and make that up 6 as we head away towards Tetra Rouge. Through we go into that flying right-hander we go, and Logan Hoy is going to get a lovely, healthy amount of slipstream as we make his way down the first part of the Mulsanne Straight. But here is Ronan Doherty, who's looking to find a way past Sean McClements, and does. Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing. What happened to Sean there? Did he get a slowdown out of that first chicane, perhaps? Well, either way, whatever happened, Ronan Doherty is now up into 4th place. I was having a feeling that Kevin Joyce against Sean McClements was going to be a fantastic battle, but now that Ronan Doherty has got that sniff of a podium, he's not going to back down anytime soon. And what a good drive it would be for Ronan Doherty to get himself back onto the podium. It would be interesting to see what happened to him in that early stage of the race, having dropped down a couple of positions. But in order to speak to him, at least on the stream, he's got to find a way past Kevin Joyce. Logan Hoy, meanwhile, we're cutting on to that was that battle we were seeing between Jamal Gandor and Carl Irvine. It's ended with both of them off at that first chicane down the Mulsanne Straight, and I think Carl Irvine's car is a little bit worse for wear. But he's pulled off to the left-hand side of the track and has towed it back to the pit lane. Logan Hoy ahead of Brandon McCawthon then, as we make our way onwards towards, I believe, we're going to be heading our way towards that second chicane here. Over the crest we go. TJ Taft and Leo Richardson battling behind as well. As a look up the inside here for Brandon McCawthon as we head our way down in towards Mulsanne. And back on the power we go. TJ Taft runs deep, and that's Leo Richardson facing the wrong way. He'll get his way back onto power, losing a couple of positions, but there is Ronan Doherty trying to put the move on Kevin Joyce here. He'll be on the outside going in towards Indianapolis, unless he can swoop through and take that racing line, which he has done before. He's on the inside this time now, is Ronan Doherty of Indianapolis. But look at that, Kevin Joyce tries to power through. He tries to floor it, but he unfortunately is met with some gravel that compromises his run, and it also compromises his entry in towards Arnage then, and he might just fall into the clutches of Sean McClements here in these closing stages. But Ronan Doherty is now up into the top 3, as that is Brandon McCawthon getting a move back past on Logan Hoy. Hoy had got the move done, but runs wide on the exit there, going out of Arnage, and has to do all that work all over again if he wants that move to stick. So many battles going on up and down the field. This is CJ O'Sullivan and Simon Hutchings battling for 9th place. Hutchings has the inside line heading through the first part of these long S's here, but they're going to swap and swoop there. Momentum base there, but Simon Hutchings round the outside in towards the karting S's. He gets that move done, and now he'll try and make his way through in towards the Corvette curves, and now in towards Maison Blanche, up towards this next couple of corners, in towards the Ford curve as well. But I believe Jason Smith has crossed the line to probably start the final lap of this race. No, there is Jason Smith. He hasn't done that just yet. He is about to, though. Oh, he has. Sorry. Yes, he has. I thought for some reason I thought that was the end of the circuit. But yes, you're right, Ronan. It is the start of the circuit. Jason Smith then with a 3.4 second lead over Dylan McClements, with Ronan Doherty now in third place. Kevin Joyce in fourth, but he's facing late pressure from Sean McClements. And there is that battle for fourth place. Kevin Joyce versus Sean McClements. It still, at this stage, would be Kevin Joyce's best finish of the season so far. And that's a straight line that's being taken by Sean McGoldrick then. I think there's a deeper meaning to that story of why he went straight on there. It's not a conventional line here at Le Mans. Let's see what happened here. So that's McCracken, I think, behind Sean McGoldrick here. And that is... Yeah, that's hardware. Yeah, you're right. That's hardware. That is hardware. That's a really unfortunate end for Sean McGoldrick then. It looks like the brakes all worked, but it looked like the wheel. There's a problem with his wheel. So a real shame that his race had to end that way for Sean McGoldrick.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. That did look like a hardware failure. I wondered, he did up and down the field, there didn't seem to be too many battles going on, and I just saw him go off the way he went off. Just actually looking, we've only got 18 cars on track of 27.
Le Mans in this third race has been quite hungry for cars and hungry for drivers to face their walls or face each other at this point. But one driver who's kept his cool in all of it, Jason Smith. What a performance from him. I said to him he loves Spa. He got 2 wins there. He's going to get another win here tonight. So far then for Jason Smith, he's mounting probably a late challenge at this point. He had a couple of penalties which has dropped him a couple of points, but without those he would be right up there in the running. And just having a look and seeing Jason Smith, I've just got a double check. This would be, he's on course for his 4th race win of the season, 2 of them coming at the last round. And we'll see what he can do if he can round off that victory in a neat little bow, having finished, I believe, 3rd place in that last race. Simon Hutchings then in 8th place, C.J. O'Sullivan in 9th, and Leo Richardson rounding off the top 10. And for Simon Hutchings here, having a great race here so far. Simon Hutchings, his best finish so far this season, 15th place. Though albeit he has only competed in rounds 1 and 2, he's on course for his best race finish of the season in 8th place. So let's see if he can keep a hold of that. But he's got the likes of CJ O'Sullivan and Leo Richardson behind, who are no customers who will take it easy in the closing stages. Kevin Joyce here on course for his best finish of the season as well. But Jason Smith here rounds his way through in towards this snaking S section here for the final time. He'll take on the karting S's, he'll take on the Corvette corner and past Maison Blanche for this final time. And he finished there on the podium in the last race, but he's picking up now where he left off at Spa as he heads his way through in towards the Virage Ford and the Virage de Recordement for the final time here. Jason Smith, in the 3rd race of tonight, will take his 4th race victory of the season. Jason Smith wins in Le Mans and wins the 3rd race of tonight. Dylan McClements in 2nd place and Ronan Doherty finishes off in 3rd place. It's all podiums for Ronan Doherty. That will do his championship charge no harm whatsoever. Kevin Joyce in 4th place, his best finish of the season. That's CJ O'Sullivan trying to dive his way past Leo Richardson in these closing stages. Simon Hutchings gets it all wrong, but is he able to hold on for his best position? Yes, he is. Simon Hutchings then across the line in 8th place, considering his best finish so far this season was 15th. That is a brilliant drive from the Welshman to head off in towards the sunset then. He's not hanging around. He wants to celebrate and get his way out there. CJ O'Sullivan in 9th place. Leo Richardson in 10th, Tony Stack across the line in 11th place with TJ Taff in 12th place, Dermot Tooby in 13th place. There's Jamal Gandor getting across the line there in 16th place. And, well, Ronan, I think most of the talking point, well, some of it will be for Jason Smith's 4th win, but a lot of the talking point will be Jordan Kelly and Rory O'Shea in this race.
Yeah, watching the comments a bit earlier on there was a bit of a I don't know, a difference of opinion between 2 of the commenters. One saying that Rory possibly moved across Jordan in the braking zone, and then the other was that Jordan was asleep at the wheel. So, that'll be for the stewards to decide. We are unfortunately not out there on track to be, making those better decisions. But
You say unfortunately, Ronan. I much rather it's fortunately we don't have to make those decisions.
True.
That's decisions made by others. We don't have to
True.
worry about that.
True.
But there is Jordan Kelly then making his way through in towards the final corner. Still 2 race wins so far, or that's 2 race wins for him tonight. So not all bad. He still gets a decent haul of points. But there is Rory O'Shea, who I think he knows we're watching him now in towards these closing laps. I mean, he's the only car yet to take the checkered flag. He will absolutely launch himself into these final corners for good measure as he makes his way across the line there to finish last of the finishes in 18th place. Well, I mean, that was certainly a day at the races at Le Mans. And I believe it was our first visit, sprint-wise, to Le Mans. And it certainly delivered. But it's Jason Smith who takes his 4th race victory of the season. Dylan McClements, another podium on the board for him. He finishes in 2nd place with Ronan Doherty just behind him in 3rd place. So their championship contentionship will continue on, I'm sure. Kevin Joyce in 4th place. That's his best finish of the season. Up 6 places for him. Brilliant drive from him. Sean McClements in 5th place with Brandon McCaughon in 6th place. Logan Hoy in 7th place. Up 6 places from him. He started race number 3. Simon Hutchings with his best finish of the season so far. 8th place for him. Up 7 places. What a drive from the Welshman. CJ O'Sullivan in 9th place with Leo Richardson rounding off the top 10. Tony Stack in 11th place with TJ Taff in 12th place, Dermot Tooby in 13th place, Bobby Joe McFall in 14th place with David Prunty in 15th place, Jamal Gandor in 16th, Jordan Kelly in 17th, and Rory O'Shea, the last of the finishers to take the checker flag, in 18th place. We lost Sean McGoldrick to a suspected hardware failure. We also lost in that race Enda Farrell, Kyle Irvine, Philip Upson, Fidley Melvin, Aaron Dalton, Ken Doyle, and Robbie Callahan, with Sebastian Scholten not taking the race start. In fact, I don't think Robbie Callahan took the race start either. So we had 25 starters. We had 18 finishers. Le Mans giveth and Le Mans taketh away. But for Jason Smith, very much it giveth with his 4th race win of the season. I'm sure we'll have them in the commentary booth. I think we'll probably start. Who are we going to start with, Ronan? Who are you going to drag in? Let's go for Jason. Let's do it then. We'll grab Jason in and have a chat with him. Jason, we spoke before. You know, you had 3rd place in race number 3, which was a pretty good result for you. And you've just taken your 4th race win of the season. How was that for you, sir?
Yeah, no, compared to where I was in qualifying down in 14th, only doing my first lap and then winning the last race was very good, very nice. But it was because of my first lap being aggressive and getting up into 2nd and getting out of the trouble, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we're just watching the first lap now as you make your way through in towards Tetra Rouge. I mean, you had 3 cars ahead of you and you managed to try and dispatch many of them. I think we had the likes of Leo Richardson up there. You had, obviously, number 7 machine just ahead of you who would fall afoul there. But I think a lot of the talking point is going to be what happened here at either the 1st or 2nd chicane. I mean, you probably had a good view of it from where you were.
Yeah, really, I was just seeing it in my mirrors. Everybody kind of started shouting a bit on the Discord, and it was just cars in my rearview mirror everywhere, really. And I actually released the brake, so nobody came flying into me. But it was just a matter of luck and getting in a good position in the first lap.
Yeah, and we're just watching it back now. But Jason, a 4th race win for you this season. That's going to do your championship hunt no harm whatsoever. I mean, all things considered, a 7th, a 3rd, and a 1st is not a bad haul of points for you tonight.
No, not bad at all. No, after the car being changed and everything, I couldn't really be happier. Really, the lads kind of gifted it to me. Ronan was very quick at the end, but wasn't taking any chances because it's so easy to get a slowdown on this track. So. Yeah, no, good day so far, anyway.
Yeah, and then you had just Sean McClements to pass on your way to victory then. Talk us through that move.
Yeah, no, I was just talking to Sean on Discord, and we just said we get the head down, and I was a little bit quicker than Sean, so then I got by him, and then I just got down the road. Sean made a few mistakes, and then unfortunately got taken out, which was easier for me, but yeah, no, it was just about focusing and not getting any slowdowns or making any mistakes, really, just to bring it home.
Yeah, and as I said, you started tonight in 4th place in the championship, not too far away from the top of the standings, but we're at the halfway mark so far. How have you sort of assessed your championship hunt? Is it possible?
Oh yeah, no, definitely it is. Yeah, I had a very bad first round, jumped in with no test, and But no, I've been testing all the other weeks and I've been running at the front. So no, the charge is definitely on. Just Dylan keeps on getting lucky and behind me, always getting through the trouble. So hopefully he gets a bit of bad luck for the next coming weeks and I can close in on him.
Well, great stuff. Jason, thank you so much for talking to us. I'm sure we'll see you at Silverstone. Good luck for it.
Perfect. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Jason. Fourth race win for Jason in the season. Let's have a look at who's next for you, Ronan. I would say, right, okay, so Ronan's just told me why Sean McGoldrick was out there. We thought it was a suspected hardware failure. It wasn't. Sean's dog decided that was the perfect opportune moment to jump up onto his lap, and Sean McGoldrick just sort of submitted and said, you know what, that's a good reason to retire. So canine shenanigans going on there. I love the honesty. Let's have a chat to Dylan McClements then in these stages. Dylan, welcome along. I mean, it's a pretty good night for you in all fairness. A couple of podiums for you tonight, and you've done your points tally no harm whatsoever.
Yeah, it's definitely a great points overall for the championship, especially with Rory being the leader and him not grabbing as much. So I would like to think I'll be back at the top of the championship, you know, and I just hope to get consistent points, as the last round it didn't really work out in my favour as I got quite unlucky and caught up with Vincent, but it was great to be back up at the podium and within the pace.
Yeah, and a third, I should say, fourth and second, and another good haul of points for you so far this season. I mean, it's just been consistency. You've had a lot of podiums this season. What's the, you know, I think I've asked you this question before, but is Silverstone a place where you can pick up your first race victory, or are you focused on just making sure you sort of do the Alan Prost, you score the points that are available for you?
I mean, as you say, I hope to just keep on the points, but also want to go for that win. I don't want to be like, you know, a non-race winner championship. Though I always want to be at the top. See, Silverstone is a place I know, but with this car, it's unpredictable. If it's going to rain or not with the typical UK weather, but it's a track I know, and I would say I'm pretty good at, but maybe not as the best as some other tracks, but. It'll be good to see what happens next week, and hopefully it all goes my way again.
We shall wait and see, of course. I mean, Dylan, we were, I say we, you were pretty much launched in the deep end as drivers with this new update for iRacing, especially with the tyres. I mean, how did you find it out there? How did you find the first few corners?
It was like driving in the rain, you know, compared to last night. I had a practice and it was flying. But I coming on iRacing with the new update, tires, everything you had to get used to. You know, it was like driving a completely new car, but it's obviously another challenge. You know, the quickest you can get adjusted will be the quickest. You know, near the end there, I got quicker than my first two races in qualifying even. So it's definitely all up to experience and skill, and hopefully I'll get more used to it for next week.
I'm sure you will. Dylan, thank you so much for talking to us. Go and celebrate your 2 podiums tonight, and a very, very good job indeed.
All right, cheers.
Thank you, Dylan. And second place in that last race, of course. So very well job done. No, that doesn't England very good, Kieran. Try again. I'll instead hand over to Ronan Doty. Ronan, welcome along. Congratulations on the win in that final race. I mean, we take the drivers to Le Mans, we give them a new tyre update, and we see what sticks, really. How did you find it out there?
Good. I didn't stick in the first corner. I was 18th after the first corner, and I thought that was all hope gone. But there was a few incidents in front, and then seemed to drive my best after that. So yeah, I managed to pick up a podium, which is what I said I wanted. But looking back, the win was definitely on the cards. But fair play to the other 2 lads in front of me as well. He drove great.
Is that a case then, that the sort of first couple of corners for you, falling down the order, is that a case due to the new update about having to warm these tyres up? And
I don't know. It was very strange. It was one of the strangest spins I've had. Like the minute I grabbed first gear, the back axle just completely locked up. I don't know if that's something new in the update, but it was quite strange. Me and Jordan were actually just talking about it there, how strange the spin was. But yeah, it was very unexpected. But luckily enough, I managed to get back on the road and sort of pick my way through the pack then.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ronan, obviously you came in tonight 7th in the championship. We're at the halfway stage now. Very good haul of points for you as well, which all podiums, by the way. How do you see yourself finishing up in this championship?
Don't know. I'll probably get maybe third or something like that. I sort of messed up my championship in the first couple of rounds, so I'm just on for a bit of crack. And yeah, like the first round, I was on pole, and then I couldn't do the race, because of a bit of an admin malfunction there. And then I had a few stinkers in Imola, third race, stuff like that. So I have, if I win the championship, I'd say someone in front of me's made a big error.
That's why I don't race, because someone can make a big error and still finish in front of me. But I won't focus on that. Silverstone next, before our Christmas break. How are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, it should be a good track. There'll be lots of air wash, but lots of opportunity for moves and stuff. Silverstone's always great for racing. It's so wide, and there's a lot of long braking zones, long straights as well to get tucked up behind someone. So Silverstone should be a great track and a challenge as well to put a lap together in qualifying.
Absolutely. Well, Ronan, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I'll let you go now, but congratulations on the podiums today, and especially that fight back from 18th place. That was very expertly done.
Cheers, thanks, Kieran.
Thank you, Ronan. Ronan Doherty and Ronan Hederman. It comes to a point now where we're starting to wrap up, but we also have to decide a driver of the day. And to be honest with you, it's one of those races where, or three races, I should say, where so much happened that you've got to try and dilute everything as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly. But it unfortunately has been chosen by our regular drivers that aren't around this week, which is always great to see. So I think you're probably going to agree with this regardless, but I'm going to just go ahead and say it anyway. But I'm going to give driver of the day to Kevin Joyce.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. He had a brilliant race this time around, and yeah, managed to get his best finish. I mean, you sort of saw Ronan Doherty right behind him, and you thought, oh, go on, do your best, try and keep him behind as long as possible. But even so, yeah, a fantastic night for him tonight, and yeah, he'll certainly get his way up the order. Considering he round 2, he got himself a 5th place there, comes away with a 4th place tonight, and yeah, I agree with you, Ronan. He gets my vote too. That was easy. When are these driver of the days easy? They're never this easy.
Never.
There you go. Never. Never, ever, ever this easy. Ronan, thank you so much for having me back in the box. It's great. It was great to be back, and what a race to bring me back for, eh?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, I think it was so much unpredictability, especially with this new car coming through. Like all the guys said, they know, some of them had absolutely no idea, Jason, but still manages to win from where he was. But yeah, especially seeing Jason spin in the first race on the not even on the opening lap, on the warm up, on the rolling start. But yeah, I think it's really thrown a spanner in the works mid-season to have an update like this. It's really put the top races on their toes. Um, the unpredictability of the likes of that Jordan Kelly incident as well is gonna make the stewards very busy, per se. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season now. It's a spanner. I'm very happy it got thrown into the works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've reached that halfway point in the season for the Motorsport.ie LMP2 Cup Series. And of course, we can't say that without looking at the calendar once again. 17th of December, we'll be heading to Silverstone, but then we have a sort of Christmas break, and then we'll be back racing again on the 7th of January weekly until we get to Interlagos. But once again, a big thank you to our sponsor in Motorsport.ie, which is Ireland's leading motorsport news blog. And since it's been founded, it's provided the Irish motorsport community with all the latest news, insights, and opinions on motorsport, both in Ireland and abroad. So a big thank you there to Motorsport.ie. You can see all as well on the RTA virtualmotorsport.com website. You can see all of the championship standings and, of course, all the penalties when they do filter through as well. Well, that's it from us here. It's been a pleasure to bring this round to you when we head next week to Silverstone, to the home of, well, arguably the home of British motorsport. It can only be one thing left. It's time for a British man to slaughter some Gaelic language. So until next time, take care of yourselves and slán go fóill.